zone. Soon athletes Mitchell, Daly, and Ryan Nicholson. Coach, if you would, just a brief opening statement.
Great week of practice. Looking forward to this weekend.
Thank you, Coach. Again, when you're acknowledged, please state your name and your outlet. We'll take questions for the whole group.
Thank you, guys.
No questions?
All right.
John.
Yeah, John Huang, Noble Media. Nick, we just had Travis Fontana here. Seemed like a cool guy. I mean, he's a load. You guys faced off against LSU last year in this position with Paul Skeens. How do you strike that balance between respecting the guy and not being intimidated by all his accomplishments?
Yeah, so that's the beauty of our conference is when you look at even the mock drafts now, and you see who the projected top hitters are in our conference, but also the country. I think we faced them all, haven't we, after this weekend? So obviously respect them. We respect all of our opponents, but we don't fear anyone. But at the same time, we have to be smart on how we go about attacking him.
Jonathan Brenner, Kentucky Colonel. Mitchell, what have you seen? You've been a part of teams that have made it all the way to Omaha. What have you seen from this team that makes you think, gives you all the confidence that you can do it again with this team?
Yeah, I mean, just the mentality. You know, these guys in the locker room are just a bunch of winners. When you have that mentality and a long lineup of people that just want to compete and want to grind out pitchers and attack on the mound, you're going to be in a good spot. And total confidence in this team going forward, and we're excited for it. So.
Coach, Joe Freeman with the Oregonian. How would you describe Oregon State's lineup? Obviously, they hit a lot of home runs, scored a lot of runs. Just the challenge that you're facing there.
I would say they're multi-dimensional. So when you look at even in the leadoff spot, I mean, he can bunt. He can bunt. He can steal bases, and that's pretty similar up and down the lineup. They can lay down bunts. They can hit homers. They can move the ball. They have good at bats, guys that can hit. So I would say that if you maybe pick one word, multi-dimensional. Is that one word?
We'll give it to
Two
you.
with a little
Close
hyper.
enough.
I wasn't an English major.
What major were you?
I was an aerospace studies major. Went to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, have all my core requirements, general education, and 3 minors, one in business, psychology, and humanities.
Normal path to being a baseball coach.
Just like, that's what you do. That's exactly what you do. A lot of my former teammates and guys I coached are working for Boeing and Lockheed Martin, and they're doing better than I am. But yeah, they're a lot brighter than I am.
Can you fly?
No. Okay. No. But I remember being at practice and having our players do their solos, flying over the practice and flapping their wings, and us being like, man, look at us. Totally different than life here, for sure.
Jeff.
Jeff Drummond, Kentucky Rivals. Nick, the way you describe Oregon State's team kind of sounds like you could be describing your own. Are there some similarities?
Very much so. Very much so. Older guys that can navigate through a lineup, competitive at-bats, and multi-dimensional. Absolutely. Very, very similar type offenses. Yeah, back row.
Coach, speaking on those similarities, have the similarities at all helped you prepare to face them, kind of knowing, seeing it firsthand with your team, what those things can do to another team?
Well, the beauty of this time of year, and I think they would tell you the same thing, is when you face teams this late in the year, more than likely you have faced a team that is very similar, right? When you start here thinking about it, we had 14 regular season weeks, and we had the conference tournament, that's 15. The regional week, that was 16. So there's a lot of different opponents and a lot of different styles of play. So it is safe to say that we face teams that are very similar. And obviously for us, we do a great job of preparing for our opponents, but at the same time, like, we're more concerned about us executing whatever the game demands. So whatever that might be, I feel confident that our players have been prepared and they would be ready for whatever the game shoots at them this weekend. Yeah, Darren.
Darren Hedrick, UK Sports Network. Mitchell, can you kind of speak on, we know what a versatile hitter you are, but to have Lopez in front of you in the lineup and a guy like Ryan Nicholson behind you, that protection, how much that affords you to be that kind of versatile guy in the 5 spot in the order?
Yeah, like you said, I mean, it's awesome having this guy right here with 20 home runs protecting me. You know, I just try to do what I can to get on base for him, you know, so he can do the damage. Like you said, trying to be versatile, trying to do things that will just help us win. So I feel like throughout our entire lineup, that's what it is. Just a bunch of versatile hitters that can really handle the bat well.
John Daly with the Herald Leader. Ryan, obviously you bet on yourself by transferring here to play at the highest level, but was there a moment this season that stands out where you thought, okay, I can really do this, I can put up the best numbers of my career in the SEC?
Yeah, I think first conference weekend against Georgia, I think that I was struggling early on out of conference, and then just kind of worked on some things mechanically, and sometimes you got to go, you know, back before you can go forward, and that weekend was a good kind of test to see, like, all right, like, I had a good weekend, and like, let's just carry momentum into the next. And Georgia obviously is a really solid program, and it was good to kind of get my feet wet, but also have a good start to conference play, and I think that propelled me pretty well.
Any more questions?
Ryan, you guys were made a lot. You guys were finished 5th in the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
And here you are for the second straight year. I wonder, was that a rallying cry for you guys? Has that been something, you know, little man kind of a thing all year, or is that whatever?
I think we're just looking to get chips on our shoulder any chance we can get. You know, we see all the media and a lot of people talk about, you know, how we play or how, you know, we're unorthodox or this, that, and the other. But you know, we just try to stay on our own guys, go out there and just win ball games, really.
What's your take on that, Mitchell?
Yeah, I never believed it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Seeing what we had in the locker room, I never believed it. So
It's not something you guys focused on really, though?
no, not at all.
That's one of the beauties of this team is, with all due respect, we're at our best when we're just focused on doing what we can control. And really, we can't control what you or anybody else think or say. We have no control over that. And these guys are at their best, focus their time, effort, and energy on things they can control, like the way they go about their practice, the way they go about their schoolwork, the way they go about their diets, the way they go about the teammates they are, by the way they go about the way they compete on the field. They have control over that, and that's one thing they've been awesome at. And that's just another good example of it.
Ryan, a lot of kids come through the portal, a lot of young men, looking for a fresh start, something didn't go right last, or coaches leave or whatever. You had success at UC, but you had the one more year. Why was this the place for you, and had this been something you had your eye on for a while?
It honestly wasn't. I loved my time at Cincinnati. I loved our coaching staff and all the relationships that I've made there. At the time, there was a coaching change, and I thought that I had a kind of a free opportunity to go into the portal, just kind of, you know, wait to see who they would hire. And I was just kind of, you know, waiting to see what would happen in the summer, and I got a lot of buzz. And then I kind of thought that, being that a lot of my friends and teammates that I'd gone in with were leaving with my class, I thought it'd be a good opportunity to just kind of test and see what was out there. And a lot of people reached out, Coach Cousineau being one of them, who I was already familiar with. And it just kind of lined up, still close to home. My brother graduating here this year, just made sense. I really love the coaching staff, and you know, once, you know, I thought that I was going to make the decision to come to UK, I was all in.
Jeff.
Nick, you brought players in that have been in this position before, Ryan talking about it, but the enormity of this for most of the team. In football, it's that first hit, you finally go, okay, you know, how does that transcend to baseball, and how do you kind of bring these guys back down to earth before the game tomorrow?
Yeah, we actually talked about that in our pregame meeting today. We had a quote, and we started everyone with a quote, and how we were going to go on the attack and knock the door down. And I also told them, I said, hey, some of you will have some nerves. That's okay. That's different than being scared. There's a difference between having nerves and being scared. We will not be scared, with all due respect to our opponent and the enormity of the games. But we were not going to play scared. We don't do that. But if you have some nerves, that's okay. You're doing something that's important. That's totally fine. But we made sure that we drew a line in the sand today before practice started. There's a difference between having nerves and being scared. And my team, we will not be scared. We have nerves? Absolutely. But there's a difference. So we made sure we covered that before practice today.
What was the quote?
Well, there is a. It was a quote from The Rock.
I can't
There was a quote from The Rock, okay? So I'd rather not go through the whole thing if you're okay with that. Yeah, it was a quote from The Rock. So, and the guys, we had two different guys animate it and live it out and with some emotion. Was it not awesome?
Yeah, it was funny.
It was like, it was
Who
fun.
gave the emotion?
We did Pat Herrera and Jackson Noby. They crushed it. They
Got
did
video
awesome.
of it somewhere?
No video. No video.
Coach, oftentimes these series come down to the tiny little microscopic things. I wonder, when you look at this, what would you say is your X factor heading into this?
Well, really, you bring up a really good point, and I talked about this earlier in the week about the margin of victory is so small. It is absolutely so small. And I just reminded our team today, again before practice, that we don't have to do anything different than we've done all year. And I would think their coach is a similar speech, right? I mean, we're in these positions because we've done some things right, and more times than not, a lot of things right. But our formula starts with our pitching, our defense, and our ability to grind out at-bats and have quality at-bats, and that's where it starts. So we would not do anything different this weekend in that it would be exactly the same. That recipe is exactly the same.
Yes, Jeff.
Yeah, for Mitchell or Ryan, either one, during the course of the league play, you're really familiar with a lot of the guys you're facing. They probably know the ins and outs of how they approach pitching you and that sort of thing. What's it like preparing for a team like Oregon State that you're not overly familiar with? Is it something akin to cramming for a test?
I wouldn't say cramming for a test. I think it's more just like, I don't know, Charlie, you want to take this one?
I think that's the beauty of it. I think that, like you said, there's a lot of familiarity with a lot of the teams that we play. Whether we play them early in the season or during conference play, and then you see them a lot in Hoover, so we're very familiar with each other. And I think the cool part is they're not very familiar with us too, and that's the challenge that goes into the scouting, the preparing. That Coach Minge and the rest of the coaching staff do such a good job of preparing us so that we feel confident and prepared going into it. So that I think everybody's looking forward to that challenge of seeing fresh faces across from us that we don't really know too much about. So we're looking forward to that.
And Nick, you've always gone out of your way to credit the crowd and support of Big Blue Nation. Why is that so important? Why has that played into your success so much this year?
Well, you've heard me say a ton that I want to do things that have never been done before, and for whatever reason, I just maybe view myself as a builder. And I think this, I would think, but I think one of my spiritual gifts is the gift of encouragement. And I can tell you that there's been a lot of time, effort, and energy and intentional effort have gone into everything we've done, from the way we have little kids stand on the field with our players for the national anthem, the way our players literally go in the stands and meet the fans right there, face to face after the game. We don't put the barrier of the net in the way. It's been very intentional the way we've gone about everything. We have given them access. We've done fan days. We have visited children's hospitals. We've been to the veterans hospital. Like, we have just, over the course of time since I've been here, we've even delivered season tickets to our fans. My first 2 years is what we did. We went out and met the fans and gave them their season tickets and introduced ourselves and invited them to come to the park. And so everything we've done has been intentional. And when you're trying to build something, and what I've realized is people with us, they want to have a personal connection. And I believe in these guys so much. I believe in Mitchell Daly. I believe in Ryan Nicholson. I believe in our team with all my heart. And there is no skeletons in the closet. We are an open book. It's the way I like to live. Nothing to lose, nothing to hide, and nothing to prove, but just build relationships. And we're called to love God and love people, and that's what we do. And so for us to thank them, to have them make sure they know how appreciative they are, it is, because we're trying to build something to where every year that someone goes, man, hey, what are we doing on a Friday night in April or May? Let's go watch the Cats play. And it becomes part of the rhythm. And Lexington, Kentucky, in the state of Kentucky, you know this, it has a track, not only record, but it has a rhythm to it. It has a rhythm to it. We all know what happens in March, right? And then we know April comes and it's Keeneland. Well, why can't Kentucky baseball be May and June and into, so we're trying to kind of build our way and get into the rhythms of what this city and this state has been through for so many years. And that takes time. And if somebody doesn't feel appreciated, maybe they may not come back. But to hear myself and the players and everybody else thank them, I just think that goes a long way, because when our hearts are filled with gratitude, that is us at our best. Everybody. For whatever situation we're going through in life, it doesn't matter, practice, game, when we can find the way to find the good in it and just be thankful through the good and the bad, through the hard times and the great times. I think people appreciate that. And that's how I want our players to be, and that's how I want to be.
Mitchell and Ryan, could you all speak on kind of building that connection with the fans from your all's perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's massive to where our program wants to be in the future. You look at some of these programs around our conference, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, LSU, you know, those are, you know, probably the most fun environments to play in. And why can that not happen here? So we're trying to create those environments, and I feel like everyone this season is witnessing the middle of that. It started last year, creating that buzz, and we're trying to basically keep that going and pick it up and move it forward, and next year we're gonna try again to pick it up and move it forward.
Yeah, to build off that too, you know, what Coach was saying, you know, I think that the fans are starting to feel that family, that connection that they see us playing with, they see the love that we have for each other, and I really hope and I pray that they feel like they're part of that, because they are. And a lot of what they do and the energy they bring helps us. And when Coach talks about serving others, you know, I hope they can see that, and so we're thankful for them, and we're looking forward to. I mean, the energy that they brought last weekend and the weeks leading up to this has been amazing, and we're just excited to see what's in store for this weekend too.
John?
Coach, it felt like Johnny Hummel was maybe warming up for like the entire second half of the game on Sunday. You obviously didn't end up needing him. He wasn't quite as sharp down the stretch as he was early in the season. Just kind of where is he at, and your confidence level on him right now?
Yeah, he's in a really good spot, and I think, as you know, boy, did we lean on him a lot early. And when you lean on him a lot early, sometimes the weather plays a factor in that. I mean, because sometimes it can be a little chilly, and it's a little harder to get loose, and it's harder to get back out there for another inning, and we relied on him heavy early. But I feel really good about where he's at physically now. He's well rested, his stuff is super sharp, so we're in a good spot. And the reason why we had him ready to rock and roll is because we believed in him. And it was just, Cam was just throwing the ball so well, and he was not getting good swings and takes. So we decided to keep going with Cam, but we feel and have the utmost confidence in John.
Ethan Grant, Catch Coverage. Question for both players. If you guys are talking about building the culture, setting this program up for the future. If you guys had to give a pitch to a player in the future to come here, why would you tell a player to come here?
Oh yeah, let me hear this. Good one right there.
So personally, this place is something that I've never really experienced before. Not only in my time in college, but just my time, you know, growing up. The environment that Coach has set, talking about serving others and making that such a priority about, you know, how can you help your teammate today? How can you help the person next to you? How can you make someone feel appreciated in your life, like a family member or a friend? I think that truly sets you up just to grow as yourself as a person, even before a player, to grow in your faith, to become a better man, to become a better friend. I think it's been huge on how that translates to the field as well, because when you grow as a person, it's really interesting. You just start, you know, finding yourself more as a player too. And so it's been an awesome experience here. And if anybody has struggled like me, I didn't really know who I was for the past, you know, couple of years. If anybody's struggling like that and try to become more of their self, then this is the place for you.
How would you feel like doing something that hasn't been done before here? It's pretty plain and simple, but last I checked, Kentucky hasn't gone to Omaha yet. They've only been to 3 super regionals. You know, we're focused on the next game in front of us, and I could tell the kid that's, you know, coming in next year that, you know, building success here is you'd be remembered for years and years to come, far past when you're done playing. And I think that speaks volumes to the fans and the big donation that represents this program.
Coach,
If you could build off that a little bit, Nick, what has been the response to the type of season you've had, exposure, getting to another super regional, when you go out and make these kind of pitches?
These guys really, these two and that locker room has really made our jobs dramatically easier. I can tell you, I got a phone call tonight, and the kid's already said, I want to come to Kentucky. I didn't talk to him yet. He's already told the other coaches, like, I want to be a Wildcat. I've watched your team play, and this guy is a really good player. Can really go anywhere he wants. But he's already made his mind up because he's watched the way they've played. He knows them. We've done all of our homework on his makeup, the type of people. There's 4 different people that we've done research on and what kind of person he is. And the video, watching him as a player, is clearly he can play at this level. I haven't even talked to him yet. He's already said he wants to come to Kentucky. I haven't had to say one thing because Ryan Nicholson, Mitch Daly, and the rest of these guys, they've said it all. They've done it. He's watched them. And so therefore I can tell you that the recruiting part has become easy. The evaluation part is still where we have to excel. And we have to make sure that we nail the details and continue to evaluate them and bring in the right players like these guys that can play at this level and have the right makeup and the right people that we're looking for, because there are so many good players in that transfer portal, so many. But they may not just all be right for Kentucky. So our evaluation piece has to be spot on. And we'll find out tonight if he's going to be a Wildcat or not. But it might take a couple phone calls to figure it out. But we now have people that just, they want to be here. This is where they want to be, and they've made it really clear. And it's because these guys and the rest of the guys and really our fans. Because a lot of these players in this transfer portal, what do they want? They want to go somewhere they can win. They want to go somewhere where they can develop. That's what these guys have done. They've created it. We've won at a high level, and they're all getting better, every one of them. Ryan Nicholson has more home runs this year in the SEC than he did last year. No disrespect to where he came from. Came from a really good school and a great conference, but he's done better. Same thing with Mitch. These guys, they've just gotten better, and it's to their credit. They're making our jobs easier, and I'm thankful for that.
Coach, Travis Bazzana for them obviously generates, rightfully so many headlines and attention. I wonder, who's the next guy on the scouting report, next guy or two that jumps right out at you that you have to be, once you get past the Bazzana bus?
I appreciate you doing your homework. I'm not letting out any secrets till after the series.
Okay.
Maybe one more if we want.
And do either one of you guys have a favorite Coach Minge quote?
Oh, I have a lot of shenanigans, I say, so I'll be really curious to hear.
There's so many. Probably just the "here we go" for that one. But no, seriously, I think one of the coolest ones that he says is we don't talk about winning, we do what it takes to win, and that speaks volume to what we prioritize here.
I second that or the we don't move. I remember I moved a bunch before I came to school here. I had to get hit with a bunch of baseballs to stop moving. So
what did it mean to you all when he didn't move on that foul ball that hit him?
I know, that's the cool
Stands
part.
behind his words.
Yeah. He practiced what he preaches, so. Yeah.
All right. Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Okay. Well,